This year, after Atlantic City, we really got noisy. Let's come up with 10 places that meet criteria to hold the National. It's easy for us to just say, oh, it should be in Virginia Beach. It should be in Mankato, Minnesota. How about in Alaska? But there are rules and requirements that we all know are important to hold the National. Here are the things that I used as criteria when picking out a place for the National. Number one, convention center has to be able to have 400,000 plus square feet of continuous exhibit space. The venue needs to be within 1 hour of a major airport, not a little podunk airport, an actual major hub. There needs to be many good quality hotels within a walking distance or a short 15-minute drive or less from the venue. Let's face it, we want some good Wi-Fi. Parking needs to be in abundant availability for anyone who wants to drive into the show or needs a spot to park there. Another criteria I set forth on my list was 5 hours. Why 5 hours? 5 hours is the length of drive that I want the majority of attendees to be able to travel in order to attend the National. Try to avoid cities that are already holding large annual, bi-monthly, or quarterly card shows. The city can hold a show, but I'm talking about Dallas, the Mint Collective, things like that. If the venue already exists for that show, I'm passing it on my list for the National. I'm not going to completely rule it out, but it was a heavy weighting factor. Chicago was instantly off the list because every other year, the National is already there. Why do it every year? I removed Dallas from the list because of the Dallas Card Show. Let's face it, it's kind of been the Central or West Coast National for years now. It's a massive show. We're going to skip Dallas. I also removed Las Vegas with the Mint Collective starting out there now. Along with that, I removed Atlanta because of Culture Collision. I even removed Indianapolis because of the Midwest Monster. This list is not in number order. It is merely a list of 10. The Orange County Convention Center in Orlando, Florida. It is one of the largest convention centers in the United States. There's over 2.1 million square feet of exhibit space. The area is already built and ready for massive influxes of people. Let's face it, Disney, Universal, etc., etc. They're ready for us to show up. Speaking of things like Disney or Universal, it is a family-friendly oriented area where you can bring your whole family, and if they don't want to go to the show, there's plenty of other things to do. Orlando is a large airport that's used to getting a lot of traffic. They can handle it. Public transit is great. Travel to the convention center from a hotel, not a problem. There are millions of collectors that can drive a few hours from somewhere within Florida to South Carolina, Georgia, and Louisiana. Now, of course, one thing to consider is hurricane season when you're in Florida, especially at the end of July. But hey, I wouldn't rule it out. The Kentucky Exposition Center in Louisville, Kentucky. They have over 700,000 square feet of exhibit space. They're within a 4-hour drive of Columbus, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, St. Louis, and other major metropolitan hubs. They are literally across from the airport and a few minutes from downtown Louisville. There are tons of parking and tons of hotel rooms, all available and waiting for us to use. Now, we are only 90 minutes from the Midwest Monster, so that is kind of a stretch, but hey, I'm okay with it. The San Diego Convention Center in San Diego, California. Over 600,000 plus square feet of exhibit space. The venue in the area are used to holding large-scale conventions. Comic-Con, for example, in California is a popular destination place for tourists already. It's drivable from many Southern California cities. It's even drivable from Tucson, Phoenix, and in a pinch and a stretch, you can even make the drive from Las Vegas. The city has a massive infrastructure already in place, and public transit won't be a problem in San Diego. That will not be an issue if we move the National out west. The Phoenix Convention Center in Phoenix, Arizona. Over 500,000 square feet of exhibit space. Drivable from Vegas, LA, some other SoCal cities, Albuquerque, and all of the areas of Arizona. It's even only a few-hour drive from Las Vegas. Phoenix has a great supporting infrastructure and many hotel rooms located and already in place. A major airport that's a hub for major airlines exists in Phoenix already. Heck, they've hosted the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure the National's not a problem. Of course, Phoenix, the end of July, it's going to be a sweltering one. That's for sure. America's Center Convention Complex in St. Louis, Missouri. Another one with over 500,000 square feet of continuous space. Driving distance from Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Kansas City, Memphis, Nashville, Louisville, and even Chicago. There's plenty to do in St. Louis, and if you miss out on casinos in Atlantic City, well, hey, guess what? St. Louis has got a few for you. You can even go check out a Cardinals game. There's a large airport not far from the convention center, and parking is abundant. Javits Center in New York City, over 500,000 square feet of exhibit space. Population driving is not a problem. The whole Northeast, New Jersey, and many other locations with tens of millions of people can access it. There is parking around the Javits Center, but it's going to be a little bit of a problem. Luckily, there's plenty of public transit between buses, subway, taxi, Uber, Lyft, and walking. There's thousands and thousands of hotel rooms not far from the Javits Center. It shouldn't be a problem. And let's face it, a family vacation in Manhattan, there's worse things to do. Now, going to a show in New York City will be more expensive than going to a lot of other locations. That could be a problem. The Moscone Center in San Francisco, there's over 500,000 square feet of exhibit space, thousands of hotel rooms nearby, and the parking's not too bad. Driving distance from almost any major city in Northern California, heck, even Reno and Tahoe, you can make the drive. You want to take in a baseball game, do some other family activities, there's lots to do in San Francisco, and it's right down the street from Union Square. The Pennsylvania Convention Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, over 500,000 square feet of exhibit space. It's an easy drive from Washington, D.C., Baltimore, New Jersey, Pittsburgh, a bit of a stretch, but even from New York City. There's 24,000 hotel rooms in a really short walk from the convention center. There's tons of historical stuff and other family activities to do in Philadelphia. Parking's a little bit tricky. There's plenty of it around, but none of it's affiliated with the convention center, so there will be parking fees there. But I'm sure the National can work that out. Where would you like to see the National go? The George R. Brown Convention Center in Houston, Texas. Over 540,000 square feet of continuous exhibit space. Driving distance from all the major cities in Texas outside of El Paso. Even that drive you could make. It's also driving distance from Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and All Points, Louisiana. You want to do stuff for the family? There's baseball and lots of other family activities already in Houston. There are plenty of hotel options and solid parking available near the convention center. The Walter E. Washington Convention Center in Washington, D.C. It's a massive convention center, 473,000 square feet in just halls A, B, and C. It's located in a whole new entertainment and convention center district. Thousands of hotel rooms available within walking distance, a solid amount of parking, and decent public transit to make up for the deficiencies. It's our nation's capital. There's tons to do in Washington, D.C. Driving distance from Baltimore, Philly, New Jersey, All Points, Virginia, All Points, North Carolina. It's a great location for driving distance. But as always, these are just my thoughts.